There's a certain kind of monster they don't write horror films about. Not the one under your bed, the one behind a desk, signing papers that turn fear into law, human beings into numbers on a spreadsheet. His name is Stephen Miller. Welcome to the haunted house of policy. He was raised in the sunshine, Santa Monica breeze, but he fell in love with shadows and authoritarian decrees. From the schoolyard rants to the Duke U stage, he sharpened every sentence like a switchblade of rage. He mocked Maya's words, called compassion weak, learned to pour his venom every time he'd speak. Now he's sitting in the West Wing, pale as the moon, turning land of the free to an airtight tomb. He says the president's power will not be questioned, like the Constitution's just some old suggestion. Every lie he tells is a policy draft, and every cage door slams with his autograph. Naziferatu in the West Wing, feeding off the fear that his hate will bring, drinking due process like a midnight feast, calling children invaders and branding them beasts. Yeah, he's the pale prince of policy hate, writing death warrants in a three-piece suit of state. He's not a public servant, he's a public threat. Naziferatu in the West Wing, and we won't forget. He buried the numbers that refugees pay, 'cause the facts got in the way of the lies he'd say. Said this isn't a nation of immigrants anymore, as he locked up hope in a concrete drawer. Plyler Vito on the courthouse wall says kids get to learn no matter how they crawl. But he dreamed up bans to keep them from school, turned a Supreme Court victory into kindling for his fuel. And he whispered invasion into every mic, turned neighbors into targets you're supposed to dislike. One MS-13 smear, no evidence found, just a judge on the bench tearing lies to the ground. Naziferatu in the West Wing, feeding off the fear that his hate will bring, drinking due process like a midnight feast, calling children invaders and branding them beasts. Yeah, he's the pale prince of policy hate, writing death warrants in a three-piece suit of state. He's not a public servant, he's a public threat. Naziferatu in the West Wing, and we won't forget. And we won't forget. He built a fake case stilo out of spite and bile, called it America First Lego with a crocodile smile. Project 2020 fair, he swears he's not in, but his fingerprints glow on every page of that sin. Alien enemies act like a holy writ, for mass deportations he could barely wait to commit. On campus he's loading the guns, suing every classroom till there's only one tongue. From Santa Monica sun to DC's gloom, he swapped sunscreen for nationalist doom. No hobbies, no mercy, no soul to spare, just a heart that beats you don't belong here. Every memo is a gravestone, every speech a curse, every law he twists makes the future worse. He doesn't want votes, doesn't want your trust, just wants a country carved in his image of us or bust. The powers of the president will not be questioned. This is not a nation of immigrants. Turn off the faucet of the refugee program. You hear it. That's not policy. That's a eulogy for the rule of law, for the poem on the Statue of Liberty, for every kid in a cage who can't sleep at night because a dead-eyed man in a fancy suit decided their fear was a useful deterrent. Naziferatu in the West Wing, feeding off the fear that his hate will bring, drinking due process like a midnight feast, calling children invaders and branding them beasts. Yeah, he's the pale prince of policy hate, writing death warrants in a three-piece suit of state. He's not a public servant, he's a public threat. Naziferatu in the West Wing, and we won't forget. You see us stay room pain and flight. With all the beer, drink anything should Jeff or they. Out in here smelling more to make us lured to the cane at the border bop while you're set. Naziferatu in the west wing, and we swing. Won't forget.